First and foremost, we praise the Most High, Ahaya, Bahashim Yeshaya. Let YAHSHALLA say Amen.
Amen.
Amen. And so today we're going to go into using grievous words or words of death or words of ill favor. The thing about it is there's a lot of so-called Israelite teachers that while they're preaching, they'll curse and use profane words or profanity, thinking, I guess, that it gives their sermons or their teachings more punch. But we're going to show through precept that that's foolishness. All right? Mm-hmm. Let's go to, and the thing that they use for a pretext is whenever, one of the things they use for a pretext is whenever Yeshua was speaking to the Canaanite woman, and he said that it's not meat to give the children's food to dogs. But we're going to show all of that and the true meaning behind it, okay? So let's go to Matthew 15 and verse 22.
Okay. And it says, "And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast, and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away, for she crieth after us."
So you see, Christ, the Son of the Most High God, did not answer her a word. Okay, and we're going to show something. Go ahead.
But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, It is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to dogs.
Okay, so now this is the portion of scripture that we're gonna put a light on. We're gonna show some other precepts, but we're gonna go back to this. Okay, so Christ said it is not meet, okay, for him to take the children's food and cast it to dogs. Okay, let's go to Psalms 37 and 30 real quick.
Okay.
We're gonna show something real quick.
It's 37 and 30. And it says, the mouth of the righteous.
Okay, hold on. The mouth of the righteous. You see that? Now, we all know that Yeshua, Jesus Christ, was what? Righteous. He was righteous. As a matter of fact, he was so righteous that he never what?
Sinned.
He never sinned. Keep going.
Speaketh wisdom.
Speaketh what?
Wisdom.
Wisdom. So the mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom. Keep going.
And his tongue talketh of judgment.
And his tongue talketh of judgment. Keep going.
The law of his God is in his heart.
You see that? The law, the Torah was in Yeshaya's heart. Keep going.
None of his steps shall slide.
None of his steps shall slide. So Christ never went off. You see that? When the scriptures talk about steps, that's what you're doing. That's your way of life. You see what I'm saying? And it says what? Read it again.
It says, the mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom,
right?
And his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of the Most High is in his heart.
That's right.
None of his steps shall slide.
None of his steps shall slide. Never. He'll never make a mistake. You see that? Because he is righteous. So now we're going to prove that Christ was righteous. Go to Revelation 19 and 11. Watch this.
And it says,
Show me what you're reading from.
this is Revelation 19 and 11. And it says, And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon it, him was called Faithful and True.
Faithful and true.
And in righteousness.
And in what?
Righteousness.
Righteousness.
He doth judge and make war.
So in righteousness, Christ judges and makes war. You see what I'm saying? So he would never use profanity or curse words or speech that's not speech that can be condemned. You see what I'm saying? Let's go to Proverbs 15 and 1. Watch this.
And it says, A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger.
You see that? A soft answer turns away wrath, but grievous words does what?
Stir up anger.
Stirs up anger. That's the thing. A lot of these so-called preachers and teachers, truthfully, they're novice, because the difference between them and Christ is that Christ knows or knew how, and of course still knows how, to give a soft answer even when he's preaching. You see what I'm saying? Of course we exhort, of course we give all doctrine, but we know how to give what the gospel or the words filled with life in a way that's not going to make someone angry. Now, if they get angry because they feel condemned, that's on them. But we're not going to curse them. You see what I'm saying? Blessings and curses can't come out of the same mouth. You see what I'm saying? Let's go to, and as a matter of fact, we're going to prove that. Go to Isaiah 7 and 14. Watch this.
And it says, therefore the Most High himself shall give you a sign.
Therefore the Most High himself shall give you a sign. Keep going.
Behold, a virgin shall conceive.
A virgin shall conceive.
And bear a son.
And bear a son. Keep going.
And shall call his name Emmanuel.
Emmanuel. Keep going.
Butter and honey shall he eat.
Butter and honey shall he eat.
That he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good.
That he will know how to refuse the evil and choose the good. So that shows irrefutable proof that Christ knew how to choose what? His words. He knew how to choose his words. We already know from former text that Christ, the law of the Most High God, or the law of his Father, was in his what? His heart. You see what I'm saying? And now we just learned that he knew how to choose his words. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, whenever you're preaching and teaching, you got to know how to come at people. You see what I'm saying? You have to know how to speak to your audience. Not saying that it's an entertainment thing, but whenever people are before you, that's an audience. You understand what I'm saying? Let's go to 1 Timothy 6. Watch this. We praise the Most High. As a matter of fact, before we go there, because this is the problem. The problem is these people say that they're born again, but they're not. Because if they were born again, they would have changed. I'm going to read Romans chapter 6. It says, what shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin? A lot of times when these so-called preachers preach and teach, you can't tell if they're a preacher or if they're just something else. You see what I'm saying? Whenever you preach and teach, the people, your parishioners, or just people listening to you should be able to say, you know what? That's a holy man of the Most High God. That man is holy. You see what I'm saying? It says, what shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin, that grace abound? God forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin, right? Because when you're born again, you're dead to what? Sin. You're dead to sin. How can you be so-called dead from sin, but you speak sinful words when you're supposed to be preaching? You see what I'm saying? It says, God forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? How can you live in sin and you're dead to sin? That makes no sense. 3 says, know ye not that so many of us as were baptized into Jesus Christ were baptized into his death. Therefore, we are buried with him by baptism into death, that like as Christ was raised up from the dead by the glory of the Most High, even so we also should walk in newness of life. So you see what I'm saying? So you have to have a new way. You have to have a new talk. You have to have a new walk. You have to present yourself in a total different way. And the thing about it is this. It's not you presenting yourself this way. It's because now Christ, the Father, and the Spirit of the Most High God abide in you. That's what is supposed to happen now. You see what I'm saying? Hold on one second. Let's go to Romans 12 real quick. We're going to show something. Romans 12 says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. The scripture said this is reasonable. This is good. This is something that you can attain, right? It says, and be not conformed to this world. A lot of times when these preachers, so-called preachers, are preaching and teaching, you don't know if you're listening to the world or someone of the kingdom. You see what I'm saying? We cannot be conformed to this world. What should come out of our bellies is gospel. What should come out of our bellies is law. You see what I'm saying? The oracles of the Most High. The scriptures say, if any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of the Most High God. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to finish. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed. So we have to transform. Watch this. By the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. You cannot prove the perfect will of the Most High, the acceptable will of the Most High, cursing and speaking the same words that everybody else speaks, speaking the same words that the world speaks. You see what I'm saying? Let's see. Let's go to Jeremiah real quick. Go to Jeremiah. Watch this. We go to Jeremiah chapter 44, 10 to 29th verse.
Okay.
And you know, the scriptures say that every idle word, right? Every idle word, we're going to be judged for that. Every idle word. Go ahead.
Okay. And it says, and this shall be a sign unto you, saith the Most High, that I will punish you in this place, that ye may know that my words shall surely stand against you for evil.
You see that? My words shall stand against you for evil. So this is to say, whenever you're so-called preaching, you don't need to bring your own words to the fight. You don't need to bring your own weaponry to the battle. You already have the weaponry. You already have the words. Let's prove that. Let me prove that. Hold what you got real quick.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the book of Ezekiel. That's Ezekiel. We're going to go to chapter 2. And it says, I'm going to start at verse 3. It says, this is Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 3. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that hath rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even unto this very day. All right? So the Most High God said, okay, look, I'm sending you out. Okay? And when the Most High God sends us out, he sends us out to what? To preach and to teach. Right? To show Israel their abomination. Right? It says, let me see. I'm going to go to 7. And it says, 7 says, and thou shalt speak my words unto them. You see that? 7 says, and thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. So the Most High God said, speak my words, no matter what. Whether they hear it or whether they forbear it, speak my words. You understand what I'm saying? You don't speak your own words. You don't come with your own thoughts. You don't come with your own agenda. You speak what the Most High God told you to speak. And if you don't, you're not a good servant. You see what I'm saying? Go to Jeremiah 23.
Okay.
And start at 22. Watch this.
And it says, but if they had stood in my counsel.
Hold on. Say it again.
But if they had stood in my counsel.
But if they had stood in my counsel, meaning if you stand firm on this word and speak what the Most High God of Israel would have you to speak, not cursing the people out. Keep going.
And had caused my people to hear my words.
And had caused my people to hear my words. Keep going.
Then they should have turned them from their evil way.
Then his words would turn the people from their evil way. Read that one more time.
But if they had stood in my counsel and had caused my people to hear my words,
right,
then they should have turned them from their evil way.
That's right.
And from the evil of their doings.
We praise the Most High. You see that? So the Most High God is saying, if you will just stop the foolishness and speak my words, okay? You don't need to call any women out of their name. You don't need to say anybody's anything. Just speak the word of the Most High God. That's all you need to do, right? As a matter of fact, we're going to prove one more thing. We're going to go to the book, Deuteronomy 18 and 12. We're going to show something. Hold on. 18. Help me, Holy Ghost. Let's see. Okay. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10 and verse 12. And it says, "And now, Israel, what doth the Most High, thy Elohim, require of thee?" So this is for all of Israel, for all of the people that say they belong to the Most High God. This is for all of Israel. So the pastors, preachers, teachers, and prophets would be in this too. Okay? It says, "And now, Israel, what doth the Most High, thy Elohim, require of thee? But to fear the Most High, thy Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Most High, thy Elohim, with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Most High and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good." You see that? In the Torah, it says that we're supposed to teach the Torah diligently. You see what I'm saying? That we're not supposed to do what? Add or take away. You see that? Watch this. And I want you to have that, what you just read, one more time, ready for me. It says, Deuteronomy chapter 4. "Now therefore hearken, O YAHSHALLA, unto the statutes and unto the judgments, which I teach you for to do them, that ye may live and go in and possess the land, which Ahaya Elohim of Yahavah giveth you." 2 says, "Ye shall not add unto the word, which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you." You see that? Whenever you sprinkle curse words on top of the gospel, you're adding. It's not the gospel anymore. It's not the everlasting gospel. It's impure. Get that one more time. Jeremiah 23 and 22. Listen.
And it says, "But if they had stood in my counsel."
But if they had stood in my counsel, the preachers, pastors, prophets, and teachers, keep going.
"And had caused my people to hear my words."
And had caused the Most High's people to hear his words.
"Then they should have turned them from their evil way."
Then they would have turned from their evil way. You see what I'm saying? Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 23. I'm going to read that. We praise the Most High. Let's see. We almost done. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 23, and I'm going to start at verse 7. It says, "Hear, O ye children, the discipline of the mouth." You see that? That means that if you are a teacher, right? If you are supposedly wise to the words of the Most High God, your mouth should be what? Disciplined. You see that?
Yes.
Disciplined. It says, "Hear, O ye children, the discipline of the mouth. He that keepeth it shall never be taken in his lips." You see that? These people are on their way to hell by their own lips. You see that? Because they are perverting the gospel. They are perverting the Basora which is gospel of the Most High God, by injecting profanity, right? Well, how in the world can you speak on Christ, the precious Lamb of the Most High God, right? The Rock of Ages, right? The Messiah, right? The arm of the Most High God, Emmanuel. How can you speak of his precious name and inject profanity between the lines? You see that? That's evil. That's evil. Watch this. It says, 8 says, the sinner shall be left in his foolishness. Both the evil speaker and the proud shall fall thereby. So the scriptures say the sinner, right? It says the sinner shall be left in his foolishness, both the evil speaker. So the Most High God don't like an evil speaker. You see that? Evil speaker and the proud shall fall thereby. 9 says, accustom not thy mouth to swearing. You see that? How are you going to be a teacher and a preacher and a prophet swearing? Watch this. It says, accustom not thy mouth to swearing, neither use thyself to the naming of the Holy One. So don't say the Most High's name all the time for nothing, right? That's saying his name in vain. 10 says, for as a servant that is continually beaten shall not be without a blue mark, so he that sweareth and nameth the Most High continually shall not be faultless. We praise the Most High. I'm going to go down to 11. It says, a man that useth much swearing shall be filled with iniquity. So if you use curse words or you use swear words all the time, the scriptures say that you're filled with iniquity. What is iniquity? A lifestyle of sin. So the scriptures is teaching us now, if you swear a lot, if you use profanity a lot, you are filled with sin. You see that? Watch this. It says, a man that useth much swearing shall be filled with iniquity, and the plague shall never depart from his house. If he shall offend, his sin shall be upon him. And if he acknowledge not his sin, he maketh a double offense. The Most High God said it's a double offense not to acknowledge the sin of cursing or swearing. You see that? It says, and if he swear in vain, he shall not be innocent, but his house shall be full of calamities. 12 says, there is a word that is clothed about with death. So the scriptures say that death and life is in the power of the tongue, right? And those that love it shall eat the fruits thereof, right? Watch this. There is a word that is clothed about with death. The Most High grant that it not be found in the heritage of Jacob. So we don't speak like that. We don't speak those words, right? It says, for all such things shall be far from the godly, and they shall not wallow in their sins. 13 says, use not thy mouth to intemperate swearing, for therein is the word of sin. You see that? I'm going to go down to 15. It says, the man that is accustomed to opprobrious words, meaning curse words or profanity, will never be reformed all the days of his life. You see that? So the scriptures is saying, if you're a person that curse, if you're a person that use grievous words, right? Iniquity is all in you, right? And you need to be washed. You need to be cleansed. Watch this. Let's go to, we almost done. Let's go to Romans real quick. No, as a matter of fact, Timothy. Let's go to Timothy real quick. We almost done. Praise the Most High. Y'all still with me? All right.
1 Timothy.
1 Timothy, yeah. Let's see. It says, we're going to go. Watch this. This is 1 Timothy 3. It says, I'm going to start at 2. It says, a bishop then must be blameless. You see that? A bishop is one that teaches others to teach. You see what I'm saying? It says, a bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior. You see that? It's not good behavior to curse. Given to hospitality, apt to teach. Again, the difference between the one that is truly born again, a born again teacher, is that we teach like Christ taught. You see what I'm saying? Christ never used profanity. It's foolishness to say that Christ called the Canaanite woman a bitch. That's crazy. That's foolishness, and it's blasphemy. Watch this. It says, a bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, good, given to hospitality, apt to teach. 3 says, not given to wine, nor striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. It says, for if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of the Most High? Now watch what 6 says. Not a novice. See, you can't be a novice when you teach. Just because you know scripture doesn't necessarily mean that you're a teacher yet, right? And as a matter of fact, the teacher knows, the true teacher knows that he's no teacher, but he's a receiver from the Most High God. You see that? Christ is the teacher. You see that? He's our rabbi, right? 6 says, not a novice, lest being lifted up. You see that? And that's lifted up with pride, lifted up with anger, anything, right? It says, not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into condemnation of the devil. Because if you notice, when those so-called teachers, those so-called rebel Israelite teachers, whenever they get mad, that's when they start cursing. You see what I'm saying? That's when they start cursing, whenever they get mad. Hold on, let's see. Let's go to, we almost done. We're going to go to Titus. We're going to go to Titus. Let's see. We're going to go to Titus 2:1. And it says, but speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. You see that? That the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. You see that? I'm reading it one more time. It says, but speak. So this is what you speak. Whenever you teach, whenever you exhort, whenever you are showing people scriptures or breaking down precepts or going precept to precept, you are supposed to do this. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. Your doctrine is no more sound if you throw profanity in if you inject profanity inside of it. It's defiled, right? It becomes a unholy thing. It says, but speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. You see that? So we've proven precept upon precept that you do not curse, you do not use profanity, you do not use your opprobrious words or grievous words while you're so-called preaching and teaching. You don't do that. You understand? You have to know as a preacher or teacher how to speak to your parishioners, how to speak to those proselytes around you, right? And that's not a good example. You have to be a good example for Israel. You have to show Israel their abominations. You can't be an abomination yourself. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, we praise the Most High.